Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you like, comment, share, and subscribe before continuing to watch the episode. So I am back with part 2 of Broke Parents Raise Broke Children, right? So since yesterday's video, I named a lot of underlying conditions. On this one, what I'll do is I will give the solution, and then we'll quickly discuss what the solutions are for all of us in this predicament that we're in. So it's literally 10 tips for creating a financially viable environment. Okay, so the first one is teach kids about money as school won't teach them. I think this is very self-explanatory, and one doesn't really need to delve much into it. It's simple. Teach your kids about money, how it works, why they should value certain things about it, the principle of money give and take, the 80-20 rule, where I said 80% is a result of 20% of the work put in, you see. So yeah, just watch the previous video to fully understand that part. Okay, and then tips for kids, right? Besides that, they should be able to know about money. It's your responsibility as a parent. The second tip is time is more valuable than money. So if you teach kids that their time, when used effectively, ends up being more important than the money, then you've done a good thing. Because what most of us do is we dedicate so much time, we teach our kids about going to work, and then granted, as I said yesterday, that work is one of the most stable forms of income that you can get. If they maximize their time, they can be able to upskill over things, because time is such a rare commodity. It literally moves forward. You can't go backwards. You can't buy time, as in like extra years in your life and so forth. You can only plan towards that, you see. So that's one of the things that you need to be mindful of, right? So give an example of how money is more valuable than how time is more valuable than money, right? So let's say you work $20 an hour, right, and you want to buy a new car, but then the car costs $50,000. So essentially, when you calculate how many hours it would take for you to make that amount of money, it would be 2,500 hours, which roughly translates to 357 days of work, not per year, of work, which is, I don't know, 2 years or 3 years, something like that, but it's quite a lot of days. So you see, if they can master their time, the money will come, you see, because as I mentioned before, your money needs to work for you, whether you are awake, whether you're asleep. It needs to be there for you all the time. So that's one of the things that they need to be cognizant of, right? And then by framing purchases in the time instead of dollars, you'll be able to make better informed decisions. So if, for instance, something costs X amount of hours and then you equate it to money, if it takes too long, then it means you need to work strategically. You see, you need to be cognizant of that. Hence I say teach people about time instead of money, because money can always be replaced, but you can't replace time, you see. So that is very important. And you must also teach them how to plan. So for instance, when I was growing up, my grandfather used to say that I must time how many hours I do my work. For instance, sweeping the yard, watering the grass, all of these things. So I used to time it when I was younger. So now when I'm doing something, a big task, I actually time myself, and then that's literally taught me efficiency. I even know that now, okay, I'll wake up at X hour. Because I'm efficient to such a degree, I only need X amount of time. Whereas someone will wake up at 5 in the morning. For now, I'm not necessarily an early wake upper person, so there's that factor. But then in general, I'm a very efficient person. If I'm up, and then we'll do the hard yards and all of that, right? So yeah, you must be able to teach kids that. It's such an important skill, guys. I wish more and more kids would taught that, but hey man, unfortunately with the way things are set up, our parents are too busy at work to raise us. But that doesn't mean that they don't love us. We just need to be smarter about the way we go about things, you see. Then the next thing is, the best way to be financially free is to be financially literate. I think it's a self-explanatory statement. You can't be good at something which you aren't necessarily privy of that you have the ability to do. So the moment you educate yourself about your finance, you will be able to make smarter decisions because it's from an educated point of view. Because the thing about education is it's nearly tried and tested. Well, most of the methods are tried and tested. So you doing something, there's literally a historical or empirical evidence of whether it'll be work out or not. So in terms of financial literacy, you'll be learning different models, knowing which model works for you and which one doesn't work for you, and then you're able to navigate around those things, you see. So the moment you educate yourself, your wealth will grow in abundance, which is very important. It's a very important life skill and a good proponent for life in general that we need to navigate towards, right? So yeah, there's that. And then the next one is, the wealthy invest in primarily stocks, real estate, and then self-education. So for stocks, what you can do for your kids is you can open an easy equity account for them and then start to educate them as young as they are. Maybe say if your pocket money is 20 bucks, give me $5 and then I'll invest it, and then you start teaching them about stocks, different kind of stocks, how you suss them out, how you study them, dividends, and all of these jargons involved with stocks. But you need to start early so that they preview of it. And then the next one is real estate, right? Real estate is self-explanatory. You obviously teach them the ownership, how important ownership is, and all of that. And then self-education is us having this conversation about finances, us having this conversation about different models that have been working: time efficiency, self-improvement, self-help, and these are the important proponents which you need. It's self-education. It's very important because I feel like we are somewhat if you create it in a way, we are literally like the latest software in a computer. You just need to continually upgrade it to fix the glitches and the bugs so that you don't have problems along the way, you see. So it's one of the important things. And then the next one, although a bit early, who you choose to marry will have a significant impact on your wealth. So this one can actually extend for kids while you're still raising them, as the friends around them will impact how they perceive themselves to a certain extent, and how much work they put in and stuff. So you'd hopefully help them and guide them to be able, you won't necessarily make them choose their friends, but then you can say, hey man, such things amongst friends are good, such and such things amongst friends are bad, you see. So yeah, it's one of those things. And later on in life, as you progress, you teach them that who they marry is very important. They need to be mindful of that, and because your partner is an extension of you, it's a growth point of you. So if you aren't fully there for your partner and stuff, it will have a negative impact on your overall work efficiency and so forth. So this is a very big life decision, right? Making the right choices will incredibly be beneficial for you, and choosing the wrong partner will cost you obviously the litigation of legal fees, time, peace of mind. As I said earlier on, time is more precious than money in some instances, you see. You need to choose someone who will uplift you, who will be there for you, who's your pillar of strength when it matters most, and so forth, you see. So yeah, that's one of those things. You really need to be mindful of that. Hopefully you teach your kids to have discernment on what is good and what is bad, and not just fall for anything, because people are good at saying things that you need to hear, not necessarily things that are actually going to come into fruition. Then the next one, right, for money wealth tips is car payment trap. So car generally is a depreciating asset. It loses value over time, and purchasing an expensive car can actually become a poor financial decision, depending on which financial position you are. So let's say, for instance, I'm an intern. There's no way I'm going to buy a Lambo as my first car. It doesn't make sense. Even if the moment the Lambo leaves a dealership, it's decreased in value. Then there's maintenance and there's security. Yeah, and then all these other factors. So you see, you need to be mindful of that and how you navigate around these things. You must be smart about it, you see. So you need to choose an affordable car that you can maintain, car that will save you money, such as fuel efficiency, reasonable car insurance, and so that you're able to take that money and use it elsewhere. That's a very important component, you see. Then there's another controversial tip, which is the reality of a 9-to-5 job provides. So for me personally, I think a 9-to-5 becomes a catalyst to the other parts of your dreams and so forth. So what a 9-to-5 does, it's not everyone can start out in entrepreneurship. That needs thick skin, and it needs a certain mental skill level, you see, which not everyone has. So what you can do is baby steps. You can take a 9-to-5 because it will give you a reliable income. Obviously it will not make you wealthy at one go, but it's reliable. So you take that reliable income and then you do other things with it, not just that one form, you see. Because those that create significant wealth have multiple streams of income, and your job can be one of those, you see, because money is a tool of wealth, as I mentioned in my previous video. So you must be mindful of that. Then the next one is a bit controversial because it says penny pinching won't help, doesn't make you wealthy. Essentially what that means is don't be stingy, be frugal about your money. So there's a difference. When you're stingy, you have the money, you just don't want to spend it for different forms of reason. But when you're frugal, you cut costs where there needs to be, but not necessarily deprive yourself of the ability to enjoy your money and its different facets. So I'll give an example. Saving $5, for instance, on coffee won't help you retire early. Overspending on long ticket lifestyle decisions matters more. I think that's self-explanatory. So choose an affordable home when you are in a building phase of a financial decisions. Downsize if economic shortfalls come about. Live in a smaller space, invest, and then regrow. Because remember, to upgrade in life, you first need to downgrade, so that when you upgrade, you're at a stronger financial position, you see. So yeah. Then the next one is health is wealth. Without a doubt, this is self-explanatory. Your health is arguably the most important thing for you, because everything flows from you, literally everything. So medical bills can be an expense for you, right? And a financial burden for you. So you need to focus on preventing illnesses that you can prevent, like diabetes, obesity, hypertension, and all of that. You can prevent those by having a healthier lifestyle, exercising, like doing the right things, so that in future you don't have high medical bills. See, health is wealth, guys. I don't know how many times I've overemphasized this, because it's such an important component. It genuinely is. There is no two ways about it. There's no shortcut about it. It genuinely just is what it is. You need to prioritize it at every single turn there is. You can't wallow around it. You can't do anything else. You just need to be healthy, because there's no use you being a sick millionaire, because all those millions are going to be put into your health medication, hospitals and stuff. Also, besides that, your quality of life is not good when you're not healthy. You need to enjoy your money. You need to wake up and say, let me go take a walk, highest peak in the world or whatever. Let me go swim, whatever. It needs to quantify, and if there's no quantifiability, then there's generally no practicality to it. You've wasted your time. You see, you need to prioritize your health, your nutrition. You need to exercise. You need to save money for yourself for later on. Those health implications, which are very good and they're very much needed in this lifetime. There's no two ways about it. You can't have a shortcut and say, because also, hey man, I hate this thing where we're being too body positive instead of being honest with each other. For instance, me, I weigh I think 80 something now. I can't get to 110 or 120. It's not sustainable. It's too big. Naturally, yes, I know I'm supposed to be that big, but then I always do my best to cut it down, because how long am I gonna live generally? Because we are moving in the wrong streamline if you look at things that way, you see. And then the next one, compound interest is the best money hack. Compound interest, some have said, is the seventh wonder of the world, you see. So by investing in your returns, so let's say you've invested in something and then it gives you dividends. If you take that dividends and reinvest it into your initial investments, you'll have an exponential rate of growth, rather than saying, now, okay, I've invested 5 oranges, I got 6 back, and then you take 1 extra and then you reinvest 5. It needs to compound. It needs to build and build and build and build and build and build and build on each other, you see. So yeah, it's one of those. Compounding interest is in the process of earning interest in its both original form and then the accumulated interest over time. So that's the wonderful thing about investing in compound interest. It's literally the seventh wonder of the world for me. I love it generally. Hence, I'm a big believer in precious metals, because what it does is, unless you sell your silver or gold, generally it reinvests in itself. So let's say I've bought for, as an example, $20, then after 2 years it's at $28. That $8, because I'm not doing anything to it, it just keeps on accumulating, then yeah, it fruits and then it buds into something very good for me generally, you see. So yeah, those are the other things. And then the next one is teach your kids about money via certain practical examples. One thing I'm very grateful for with my childhood, and I was we had very practical examples. So what do you call this? So my grandfather, I remember, used to go visit my maternal grandparents raised us, but we'd go visit my paternal grandparents. So when we'd go, my grandfather would give us money, my older sisters and I. So he'd give us, obviously I was the youngest, so I'd get the least amount. So it's like $10, they'd get 20. So we'd go, and then after the holiday, we'd come back. When we came back, he'd ask us, how much do you have left? And I was like, I remember the first time we did, I was like, charge all of it. And then he's like, please be mindful. And then he gave the one who had the most money extra money, you see. So I was like, oh, okay, so the bro has money, I must just be smart about it. So the next time when we went, I didn't chow my money. I think I only bought marbles. Back then I was like a big marble fanatic. I only bought that and then I put my money away. Then obviously they give me money, all the uncles and all of that, they give me money. I was so happy, and then yeah, that was a good learning lesson. It was like practical. At the time I didn't fully understand what he was doing, but it was actually teaching us to preserve what we have, even though we'll get more along the way. But that preservation tool was very important. It played a big role in how I see money generally. Yeah, I'm very proud of such moments and many other practical things. But then the reason I gave that example is the practicality of it, that there was no you're going to tell a child, hey, my child, save money, unless you showed it to them properly, the actual repercussions of what they're doing, you see. So it's a very important one. So apparently Warren Buffett has cartoons where these cartoons talk about wealth, money, investing, business, personal finance, right? So what these cartoons will do is they will instill that mindset within kids to do what they should do in a smarter way, you see. So when I look at that, it's very important. It's a very teachable moment. It's a very important thing that even adults need to figure out or actually do, because it goes a long way. If you're taught practically, your lessons are, they last a lifetime, you see. So I think we should all learn that. And then for us adults, we'd have to have board games, right? Such as Payday. I don't know Payday. I've never seen it personally. Monopoly, technically very good at that. And then there's Cash Flow 101, and then the Game of Life. These are such important things. If you have the chance of playing them, take the lessons from them, not necessarily you competitively winning. I get that most people are competitive, but the practicality of it is such a big thing. And then the last and important proponent that you need to be mindful of. So did you know that generational wealth must be protected, right? I know we all know this, but then here's a shocking fact. 70% of families lose their wealth by the second generation, meaning that if I were to have kids now, my kids would be unable they'd be unable to maintain the wealth because they're not taught how to make it up, you see. And 90% of families lose their wealth by third generation. So my grandkids would be the ones who are reckless. And unfortunately, it trickles down because what I didn't do for my kids, they can't do for their kids because they didn't know. Hence I said the title is Broke Parents Raise Broke Kids, you see. So it is one of those things. Besides that, I hope this has been a very interesting video, mindful video. You have been engaging and you've watched this far. Thank you very much. I hope you like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.